What's up, everybody? Wherever you are on your journey, I'm glad that I get to be here with you and that you are here with me. Today, we're talking about having a holy mindset. Now, this being from a Catholic perspective, it is going to have that classic Catholic both and right down the middle approach. So, there are really two ways to approach your life that the world would have you do. There are really two ways to approach it from the world's perspective. Now, let's say you're struggling in your marriage, you're struggling in your work, you're struggling with your kids, you're struggling with your friends, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling like you're not seen, you're not heard, you're not valued, you're in a mess. Your life stinks. Your life is painful. You're suffering every single day. Now, the world is going to go out there and tell you to take one of two approaches. The first approach, which is what many self-help, false prophet gurus are going to tell you to do. They're going to tell you to walk into a field of weeds and pretend like there are no weeds. They'll tell you things like, just be positive. Just find the positive. Do a gratitude list. Find all the things that you're grateful for. And this has some merit to it. There are some aspects of this that are true. Gratitude actually scientifically does elevate your life, does make things better. But it can be extremely invalidating when you walk into a field of weeds, when you look at a really difficult marriage, really difficult experience of loneliness, disobedient kids, your job's not valuing you, all that kind of stuff. It can be really difficult to find things that you're grateful for. But even more so, if you walk into that field of weeds and you pretend like there are no weeds, it's incredibly invalidating to the very real suffering that you're experiencing. So you don't want to invalidate your own emotions. You don't want to pretend like reality isn't reality. You don't want to pretend like your life doesn't suck right now or that your life isn't full of suffering right now. Because if your life is full of suffering, one of the worst things that you could do is pretend like it's not, is to pretend like it's not. Most people want the resurrection without the cross. Most people want to pretend like there is no suffering or that suffering isn't an essential part of personal development and personal growth. But it is. Okay, so that's one perspective from the world. The other perspective from the world is just unrelenting, unconditional, positive regard. So it's this idea that if everything is really turning in on itself, if nothing seems to be working in your life and it's really painful and really difficult, the other side of the world will just feel bad for you. Will just be like only exclusively validating of your emotions. They will only say things like, yeah, it does. Everything in your life is a mess right now. I'm so sorry that you're being treated so poorly. You deserve better. You deserve better. And they will sit there and they will just listen. Now, there's merit to that. There's merit to listening and validating your emotions because you can feel like you're going crazy sometimes. Like you're the one who's the crazy person when everything around you seems like it's crazy. And you can feel someone validating your emotions and be like, okay, great. I'm not crazy. Okay. That's a big relief. I feel like this is a big cross to carry and it's really a lot of suffering. And someone is sitting here validating me and being like, yes, it is a big cross to carry. Yes, it is a lot of suffering, right? That can be good, but it can be good just like the other side. It can be good up to a certain extent. It can be good up to a certain extent. One of the key characteristics of a Catholic perspective on mindset in relationship to your life is that Jesus, who is the model for the human person, who is the blueprint to a meaningful, joyful life, Jesus said the words, deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. Right? Jesus said, pick up your cross. Don't pretend like it's not there. and don't sit on the ground moping about, pretending like it's too heavy for you to carry. So Jesus didn't want to do either end of the secular perspective. He didn't want to just validate that it's suffering, and he didn't want to deny reality. He wanted to look reality straight in the face, validate the fact that it's suffering, and tell you to press on and press forward anyway. So one of the things that is really essential about a Catholic mindset, a true Catholic mindset, is that you look at the events of your life as essential elements to the story of your salvation. You never look at your life and say, I wish it was easier. You say, I'm going to be better. You don't say, this occasion is too heavy. You say, God, help me rise to the occasion of this moment. You don't wish for fewer problems. You work to create better skills. You don't wish for less challenges or less suffering. You wish for the wisdom to carry the cross and the strength to carry the cross as well as you possibly can. St. Paul, from a prison, he sets the standard for this from a human perspective. Jesus is the standard. St. Paul enforces the standard. St. Paul says, rejoice always. I say again, rejoice. St. Paul would say, rejoice in all things. It's like, my marriage is really difficult right now. Good. How is that going to be part of your story and your wife's story toward salvation? Nobody values me at work. Good. How is that going to turn you into a holier version of you? How is that going to strengthen your mind and your heart and your soul? How is that going to be part of your story toward salvation, part of your walk toward salvation? St. Paul doesn't say rejoice always, which is just like pretend that everything is great all of the time in all ways. No, St. Paul writes that from a prison, being like, prison, I rejoice, not because I'm ignoring the fact that prison is hard. I rejoice because this is part of God's will, God's plan, God's relationship with me that is deeply personal and deeply real, that is all going to be made for my good. I think literally the hardest line in all of Scripture comes from St. Paul when he says, all things work for the good of those who love the Lord. That's the mindset, folks. That's a Catholic mindset. It's, I look this thing dead in the eyes because I look reality dead in the eyes because I have to. And I say, this thing, this difficult thing, this painful thing, this challenging thing, this is going to work for my good. This is going to work for my good. That is what it means to have a Catholic mindset. So if you're sitting in your life right now and you are just moping and complaining at every turn, looking for everybody and their mother to validate your emotions, and you refuse to pick up your cross and work toward the good that God has in store for you through this suffering, then you don't have a Catholic mindset. If you're pretending like reality isn't reality, if every single day, no matter the circumstance, someone says, like, how are you doing? You're like, I'm living the dream. Life is amazing. Life is great. And you constantly invalidate your own emotions. That ain't good either. The Jesus way, the Catholic way, is you look your life, the reality of your life, dead in the eyes, and you believe and you live out of the belief that this is working toward your good. And this is working toward your salvation. So I hope that's a blessing to you. God bless you. And remember, you were made to do hard things.